It's going to get worse and worse. The more they try to brand and get out there to do all these different things to make money, the worse it's going to get. They're a complete disaster.
You didn't prove your case. You had the opportunity to prove your case. You failed to do so. That's how the legal system works. Yes, no, he's never seen a situation in which he is not the victim, and he enjoys being the victim.
I have a horrible feeling that we're seeing a breakdown in plain sight. I just, the movements, the way they move, the way they talk is so erratic.
Meghan Markle reportedly seemed to believe her return to Britain would go unnoticed. That idea didn't last long at all. Within just a few hours, news of her visit was everywhere, spreading across major headlines at incredible speed. The reaction was so intense that some people described as palace insiders were reportedly using a word they had never openly used before, breakdown. And that was only the beginning. Let's go back to the promise that many people still remember Meghan Markle making. She had said she was finished with Britain and had moved on from royal life. It also appeared she would not return unless certain concerns, including an apology and full security arrangements, were resolved. But events don't always unfold the way people expect, and now the situation looks very different from what many had imagined. According to reports, Meghan Markle quietly returned to the United Kingdom last week. There was no public announcement, no major media event, and no large celebration. The visit was described as a private family trip.
Meghan back on royal property.
Yeah, no one is as horrified as I am. I am curious to know your take here. There's two ways we can look at this, okay? I look at it appalled, because I feel like, in a way, it's giving Harry and Meghan exactly what they want. Credibility. It erases the hurt that they've caused over the last 6 years. They've not said I'm sorry publicly.
But then something surprising happened. Within hours, reports about the visit were appearing across major news outlets around the world, making it impossible for the visit to stay under the radar. The BBC reported on it. People magazine reported on it. Before long, the story had spread almost everywhere. One viewer summed up the situation in the comments, and the remark quickly caught people's attention. They wrote, "A meeting so private, they had to send a press release to every news outlet around the world to announce a private meeting." That comment received around 900 likes, showing that many people shared the same reaction and thought the situation looked hard to ignore. So the big question quickly became, who actually shared the details of the visit? The palace reportedly said it was not them. Representatives for the Sussexes also reportedly denied being the source. But there was one detail that many people felt was easy to overlook, and it added even more debate to the story.
Harry and Meghan are desperate. They are trying to retrieve their situation sufficiently so that they will become bankable once more.
Similar claims have surfaced before. During an earlier palace leak that received a lot of attention, journalist Charlotte Griffiths later said she had identified who briefed her. According to her account, it was not the palace. She claimed the information came from Meghan and Harry's PR team. Supporters of that view argue the story was promoted first, and only afterward were public complaints made that suggested the king's staff was responsible. Critics say the whole situation looks very familiar and believe it follows the same pattern they say they've seen before. Whether that is true remains a matter of public debate, but the timing of this visit is what really grabbed people's attention. To understand why Meghan Markle reportedly returned to Britain after years of saying she would stay away, many commentators pointed to what happened just 1 week earlier. A week before the visit, Prince Harry had experienced what many observers described as a major setback.
Fact is, they can pop in and have tea. I hope they had Highgrove jam, which is far better than the Meghan slop that she calls spread. I got to taste what real produce tastes like from the Highgrove shop.
Picture the scene. A courtroom in London, where Prince Harry was facing the Daily Mail in what many considered one of the biggest legal battles of his life. He had spent years pursuing the case and said he was seeking the truth while honouring his mother's memory. Then the judgment finally arrived, 400 pages long. the outcome was a significant setback for Harry. He did not succeed on the claims in that case, and the judge said some of his arguments relied on assumptions rather than evidence. During the proceedings, the Daily Mail's legal team challenged his allegations point by point. Then attention quickly turned to the question of legal costs. In Britain, the losing side can be ordered to pay a large share of the other side's legal expenses, and some commentators even mentioned figures as high as $50 million. That number spread fast and immediately got people talking, even though estimates varied depending on the source. Now, here's the part that many people found even more surprising. According to reporting from The Telegraph, Prince Harry reportedly tried to reach a settlement shortly before the case concluded. The report said the Daily Mail declined that offer, so the legal fight continued instead of ending behind closed doors. That meant both sides had their chance to present their arguments in court.
Said is exactly right. It's a complete breakdown of the marriage, of Harry's mental stability. Like nothing's working out for them. How can it? I mean, you just have ulterior motives to do things that you want and you're not getting it. And so you're losing your minds. Your lives are completely falling apart.
Lady Colin Campbell reacted by saying, "The Mail is very good at staring you down." Many commentators pointed to that remark and argued it matched how the case unfolded. According to those reactions, the newspaper refused to back down against Harry, his co-claimants, and his lawyer, David Sherborne, who some observers said had kept a much lower profile after the verdict. So what happened after this major setback? Did Harry simply accept the ruling and move forward, as Meghan Kelly suggested he should, like a grown-up? Critics say that is not what happened. After the judgment, Harry released a strongly worded statement describing the verdict as a whitewash. That immediately triggered another wave of debate. Some critics argued his comments were directed at the British legal system and questioned why he chose to respond so publicly. Then, just 3 days later, reports said he met with his father over tea. The timing immediately raised eyebrows. According to several reports, however, the meeting came with clear boundaries, and accounts of what happened behind the gates of Highgrove suggested the conversation was far from a full reconciliation. Before looking at the meeting itself, it's worth looking at how the week reportedly began for Prince Harry. According to several reports, he expected he might stay at Buckingham Palace as he had done in the past. However, according to Neil Sean, citing palace sources, the response was essentially, "There's no room at the inn."
In returning to the UK, the country she claims she hates is a sign of defeat. And it is a sign that they are desperate and they do need money and they do need proximity to the British royal family so that they can try to attract new opportunities.
That's really true. So on the one hand, they've won because they're back on royal property. On the other hand, it's a mission of defeat that she tried to go it alone and be Meghan Inc.
That reported reply immediately caught people's attention and fueled even more discussion. The reports suggested Harry was not staying at the palace where he grew up, and instead had to make other arrangements. That alone became another talking point, with many people wondering what it might say about the current state of family relations. According to those same reports, Harry stayed at a private members' club instead. And why not Windsor? Some royal commentators, including Neil Sean, claimed Prince William reportedly had no interest in that happening. Those claims have not been independently confirmed, but they added another layer of speculation surrounding the visit and kept the conversation going. That was the atmosphere before the meeting had even started. Officially, it was presented as a warm family visit, with a grandfather spending time with his grandchildren. But commentators such as Lady Colin Campbell and Neil Sean, both citing their own sources, described the situation very differently. According to their accounts, the meeting lasted less than an hour, despite the long journey across the Atlantic. Lady Colin Campbell also suggested that serving tea reflected a meeting intended to be polite, brief, and carefully limited rather than deeply personal. According to those reports, there were no lengthy conversations or emotional heart-to-heart moments. The visit itself was reportedly short, with everyone arriving and leaving in a relatively brief period. Then, one detail sparked even more discussion. According to several royal commentators, phones and other electronic devices were reportedly collected before anyone met with the king,
and it didn't work.
She would not be here if everything had. If she still had to record
It's very
Confessions of a Female
true.
Founder, if she had a new season of With Love Meghan to shoot, if she was actually working on Meet Me at the Lake, The Wedding Date, or this new Afghanistan movie, Meghan Markle would not have the time to come crawling back to King Charles and Queen Camilla.
with the stated purpose of protecting privacy and security. Those reports have not been officially confirmed, but they quickly became one of the biggest talking points surrounding the visit. Another claim from those same accounts was that Prince Harry reportedly met with the king first on his own, while Meghan Markle and the children waited elsewhere. Some commentators viewed that as a meaningful choice, while others urged caution because there has been no official confirmation about exactly how the meeting was organised. Then there was Queen Camilla. Reports also claimed that Harry had reportedly preferred not to have her present because of their well-known public disagreements, including comments he made about her in his memoir. Even so, those same reports said Camilla remained by the king's side throughout the visit. Supporters saw that as a sign of loyalty and support for her husband, while others reached different conclusions. Either way, her reported presence quickly became one of the most talked about parts of the meeting. Another detail also drew plenty of attention.
Also been conditional, evidently, on no publicity, no, blah, 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 no leaking. Let's put it like that, no leaking. The last time there was leaking, they have evidently been informed that there can be no leaks, and if there are leaks, there will be consequences.
According to several commentators, any photographs reportedly taken during the visit would remain under the control of the Crown and would not be released for Netflix, Instagram, or any public announcement. Lady Colin Campbell also claimed the couple received a very clear warning that if private details from the meeting became public, there could reportedly be serious consequences. Lady Colin Campbell even described the situation as the last chance saloon. Then TalkSport's Robert Bell added a lighter moment to the discussion. At least, he joked, they got to taste proper Highgrove jam. He also quipped that it was better than Meghan's homemade spread, and the remark quickly grabbed attention, with many commentators repeating it afterward. But while Meghan was reportedly inside those gates sharing tea with the king, another family relationship was making headlines thousands of miles away. That brings us to Thomas Markle. Whatever someone's view of the wider royal story, his situation has continued to spark debate, and many people consider it one of the most emotional parts of the entire saga.
And Harry and Meghan understand that they need the facade of reasonably good relations with the king and queen.
Thomas Markle spent many years working as a television lighting director, taking on long hours and demanding jobs throughout his career. By many accounts, he invested a great deal of time, energy, and financial support into helping his youngest daughter chase her ambitions. Many people believe those early sacrifices made a real difference in the opportunities she received. Reports and interviews over the years have said he helped pay for private school, acting classes, education, and other opportunities that supported her early career. Many commentators argue that support played an important role in the path that eventually brought Meghan Markle into the public spotlight and helped launch her career. Today, Thomas Markle is in his 80s and has reportedly faced several serious health problems over the years, including heart attacks, strokes, and the loss of part of a leg. Public reports have also said that he has never met Prince Harry or his grandchildren in person. That detail has become one of the biggest points of discussion for many commentators, who say the contrast is difficult to ignore. According to reports, Meghan travelled more than 11 hours to visit Prince Harry's father, and that comparison has continued to spark strong reactions. Thomas Markle reportedly lives only about a 2-hour flight from Montecito, leading many commentators to highlight the difference. They point to the much longer trip to see Harry's father, while noting there has been no publicly reported reunion with Meghan's own father, despite his widely reported health challenges. Many viewers return to this comparison again and again in the comments. As one frequently repeated remark puts it, one grandfather is a king, the other is a retired man with no royal title, and according to public reports, only one of the two fathers received a visit. One viewer summed up that opinion in the comments by writing, "They won't visit Thomas Markle because he isn't rich." That remark quickly drew a lot of agreement from others. It also raised a question that many people continue to debate. If a parent supported a child for years, but later found themselves without contact during serious health struggles, how would they make sense of that situation? That question has sparked strong reactions from viewers and continues to divide opinion.
Not lose sight of the fact that this has been a catastrophic week for the Sussexes. My take on it is, if Harry had have won, would he have pushed as hard for a reconciliation with his father? Think about that. If you'd have got 50 million rather than losing 50 million, and it's not that much, but that's the speculation, but it's actually a lot less than that. But just place that in your mind. Would Harry have been so keen?
Many people see it as one of the most emotional parts of the wider story. Many of you watching are grandparents, and some have shared personal stories about family estrangement. That is one reason this topic connects so deeply with so many people. To those viewers, Thomas Markle is more than just another headline. They see someone growing older while remaining separated from close family, and they say that reality is difficult to watch. Some royal commentators have also raised another concern. They have questioned whether Thomas Markle's side of the story will ever be fully heard if circumstances do not change. That remains speculation, of course, but it has become a regular topic of discussion. And if you thought Thomas was the only family member attracting attention this week, another report quickly shifted the spotlight. According to several reports, Prince William learned about the meeting through media coverage, just as the public did. Royal commentators argued that the timing only added to the tension. While King Charles was reportedly meeting with the Sussexes, Prince William and Princess Catherine were carrying out official engagements, including attending a charity polo event. Multiple reports claimed William was caught off guard, and several commentators continue to say he has no interest in a private meeting with his brother at this time. According to those reports, there has been little sign of a change in that relationship. Critics point to Harry's public comments about William, including references to his hair loss in his memoir. They also argue that online commentary from some supporters and commentators increased pressure during the period when Catherine was undergoing cancer treatment and focusing on her family, adding another layer to an already difficult situation. But Prince William is not really the main focus here. The bigger question many people are asking goes back to Queen Elizabeth II and the Sandringham Summit. At the time, her position was widely understood to be very clear. There would be no half in, half out. Someone was either a working royal or they were not. Many people saw that as one of the firmest boundaries she ever set, and it became a defining moment in the royal story. Now, some commentators argue that this week's reported meeting with King Charles has raised fresh questions about whether that line is being viewed differently today. That idea alone has sparked a new wave of debate and plenty of strong opinions. The reaction in the comments has been impossible to ignore. One viewer, describing themselves as a 72-year-old lifelong monarchist, wrote, "I have always been a monarchist, but no more."
I've reported that he tried to settle this case right before.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Shows how desperate he was. And it was £750,000, which will be what, circa $900,000 roughly in US dollars?
It's a lot.
Something like that. So that was January 24. He had to pay the Daily Mail's legal costs, approaching $1 million.
Another viewer shared this opinion. What Harry and Meghan did to the Queen and Prince Philip before they died. Charles is insane to let them visit. Those remarks reflected the feelings of those individual commenters and showed just how divided public opinion remains. Around 400 people agreed with that second comment, highlighting how emotional this topic continues to be. Many people still remember Prince Philip's final months and Queen Elizabeth attending his funeral during pandemic restrictions. They also remember the widely reported interviews, accusations, and public disagreements involving Harry and Meghan during the later years of her reign. One commenter even used the phrase elderly abusers. That description reflects the opinion of that individual commenter, not an established fact. Even so, hundreds of viewers supported the comment, showing how passionately some people feel about the issue. Critics now argue that the King's decision to meet with the Sussexes sends a very different message from the one they believe Queen Elizabeth wanted to leave behind. Some viewers, including commenters from Australia, have even said this latest development has made them question the future of the Commonwealth. Reports also claimed there were boos from some members of the public as the Sussexes' vehicle approached the meeting, although reactions appeared to be mixed. One viewer summed up their opinion in just 3 words. The King got Markled. That remark quickly spread through the comments and grabbed plenty of attention. Which brings up the biggest question of all. Why now? Why would King Charles agree to this meeting after appearing to keep his distance for so long? According to one royal commentator, the answer may come down to a reported phone call made the night before the meeting.
What you've now done is effectively run and rub sort of very cruelness, if you like, in Thomas Markle's circle, whichever way you look at it. Unless, of course, the King, and we don't know this, and I certainly don't know this at this point, unless the King has instructed that Harry makes contact with Thomas Markle. I think that's going to be a problem, because as these two invariably parade that story, which they will do, make no mistake about it, somewhere, somehow, somebody will get the story.
But here's the twist. He claims the call did not come from Prince Harry. According to royal commentator Neil Sean, this is what he alleges happened. He claimed that on the evening before the reported Highgrove meeting, Meghan Markle herself contacted the palace. According to his account, the message was that Harry was deeply affected by the recent court ruling and needed to speak with his father. Neil Sean says that appeal was what reportedly convinced the palace to move forward with the meeting. Those claims have not been independently confirmed, but they quickly became another major topic of discussion. Now compare that with comments made this week by PR expert Jackie Vore, whose remarks quickly got people talking. She said, "I have a horrible feeling that we're seeing a breakdown in plain sight." That comment immediately stood out and sparked another wave of debate. Jackie Vore also pointed to what she described as inconsistent public messaging over time. In her view, plans and public statements appeared to shift from one moment to the next. She also said Harry was throwing his toys out of the pram whenever media coverage did not unfold the way he wanted. Meghan Kelly also shared a strong reaction to the court case. Speaking about the ruling, she said he was wrong, before adding, "He's got a sick sense of paranoia." She also argued that if his campaign was truly centered on honoring his mother's memory, his attention would be directed elsewhere, instead of continuing legal battles with newspapers. She then pointed to the widely reported New York car chase incident. Meghan Kelly argued that the situation had been exaggerated, describing it as much less dramatic than some public accounts suggested. In her opinion, it reflected a broader pattern in which ordinary events are presented as much bigger controversies.
He doesn't tend to, if the publicity's not good, she's the last person in the world who's going to put her head above the parapet to support him. She's always fawning at how much he dotes on her and always all this sort of stuff. But it tends to be quite often a bit a one-way street as far as that's concerned.
Yes, and it could be a bit cultural, Rupert. Americans don't like losers.
Creating headlines that attract even more attention. Then the judge reviewed the evidence and delivered a decision that did not go Harry's way. That ruling quickly became one of the biggest stories of the week and led to another question that royal commentators kept bringing up. Throughout the court case, the headlines, and the public reaction, Meghan Markle was not seen standing beside Harry at public appearances connected to those events. Her absence immediately sparked speculation. Some royal commentators have suggested the couple may no longer completely agree on how to handle ongoing legal battles. According to those commentators, Meghan had reportedly grown tired of the lawsuits years ago, while Harry remained determined to keep pursuing them. Those claims have not been officially confirmed, but they have continued to fuel discussion. That is why some royal commentators say a question that was once rarely asked is now being discussed much more openly. They have started asking, how much longer will this marriage last? At this stage, however, that remains speculation rather than a confirmed reality, and there has been no official announcement suggesting a separation. Another theory has also been circulating among some royal commentators, creating even more debate. It is often called the 10-year rule. They point out that under California law, the length of a marriage can be an important factor in certain aspects of divorce proceedings, depending on the specific circumstances of each case. The Sussexes have been based in California since around 2020. Commentators such as Kinsey Schofield have publicly speculated about what that timeline could mean in theory, although they have not presented evidence that a separation is planned. Another point frequently raised is that, under current conventions, Meghan could reportedly continue using the title Duchess of Sussex after a divorce, making that another subject of ongoing public discussion. Some commentators also point to Sarah Ferguson continuing to use the Duchess of York title after her divorce as part of this wider discussion. They argue it shows why the subject keeps coming up whenever people speculate about what the future could hold. Publishing insiders have also speculated that, if Meghan Markle were ever to write a memoir following a divorce, it could attract a huge publishing deal. Those figures remain entirely speculative, but some commentators have mentioned estimates ranging from $50 to $60 million. For now, though, attention has already shifted to what might happen next. There has also been speculation about possible invitations to Balmoral later in the summer, along with talk of Christmas at Sandringham. According to reports, sources said to be close to the Prince and Princess of Wales have claimed that if the Sussexes were to attend the traditional Christmas walk, Prince William and Princess Catherine would reportedly choose not to take part. None of those claims have been officially confirmed, but they have continued to generate plenty of discussion and debate. Some commentators have even suggested the future king could decide to stay away if those reported Christmas plans ever became reality. That shows just how much speculation is surrounding the royal family at the moment. Then there is Lady Colin Campbell's reported warning about the Highgrove meeting. According to her account, if details from that private meeting were ever leaked, it could reportedly have serious consequences for future family contact. Given the couple's history of widely publicised interviews and books, many royal commentators say they are watching closely to see what happens next. One dramatic week, one quiet trip that quickly became global news, a reported rift with the future king and an aging father who, according to public reports, is still hoping for a family reunion. No matter where you stand on this story, one thing is clear. The conversation is far from over. New reports and fresh developments could change everything, and many people will be watching closely to see what happens next. Now it's your turn. Do you think King Charles handled this situation the right way, or has this reported meeting changed your opinion? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who follows the royal family. Your support really helps the channel grow, and we truly appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and be sure to click one of the 2 videos on your screen right now. There's always more to uncover, and you won't want to miss what's coming next.